Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a big cultural moment, something everyone's talking about, and really dig into it. We look at the sources, the stories, the whole drama to give you the full picture.
The ultimate informed perspective.
Exactly. And today, strap yourselves in because we are diving deep into high fashion, fierce competition, and those reality TV rules. The ones that always seem to get bent, maybe even broken sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the huge return of a TV legend, Project Runway, season 21.
Yeah, this was massive news in the reality TV world. It wasn't just like another season. It felt like a full-on revival. They were trying to catch lightning in a bottle again, you know.
Right.
But they were also dealing with big changes, new network, different people involved, and the huge question of, like, who is actually on the show?
How do you bring back this iconic thing while changing some of the key players who made it famous in the first place?
That's the tightrope they were walking. That's the tension, really, that defined this season.
Absolutely. So, our mission today for you is to unpack this entire season 21 journey. We're going to look at the really crucial personnel changes. Some were amazing, some kind of controversial.
Definitely.
Like the spectacular return of one original star and then the very noticeable absence of another key figure.
Yeah, deeply felt, I think is the right word.
We'll get into the new judging panel, the dynamic there. We'll dive into the drama, especially those, unconventional challenges everyone loves.
Always the best ones.
And crucially, we're going to place the season in context. Project Runway has this long, kind of wild history of cheating scandals, producer influence theories, judging biases.
It's always been part of the appeal, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That layer of what's really going on.
Exactly. It makes it must-see TV. We've gone through everything, the reviews, the interviews, the recaps to give you the definitive story, not just who won, but like how the game is played behind the scenes.
Prepare for the full fashion lowdown, the history, the drama.
Yeah.
We're laying it all out right now.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, the logistics of this comeback. For a lot of fans, the show had felt a bit scattered, maybe? Jumping networks, maybe losing its identity a bit.
Yeah, it had been on Bravo, then Lifetime.
Yeah.
There was a feeling of searching. Season 21 felt like an attempt to plant a flag again.
So, the specifics. It was a 10-episode run, started July 31st, wrapped up September 25th, 2025. Pretty standard length.
And the big structural change was the network. It landed on Freeform, which, signals a certain demographic target.
And it was co-produced by Alfred Street Industries and Spyglass Media Group. That sounds like some serious backing, right? Like they were really investing in this.
It definitely shows a corporate commitment to rebuilding the brand. It wasn't just a license deal, it was a partnership.
The rollout felt very current, too. Very 2025. They kicked it off with a 2-episode premiere, big splash right away.
That shows confidence. Get people hooked immediately. And then the streaming piece was key. Episodes hit Disney Plus and Hulu pretty quickly after airing.
Right, you got to capture both audiences now, the traditional cable viewers and the streamers who want it now.
But look, you can have the best distribution strategy in the world. It all comes down to the faces on the screen. And the absolute biggest news, the headline grabber, was Heidi Klum coming back.
The original face of the franchise, it was huge. I mean, she'd walked away in 2018.
Yep, and then launched her own competing show, Making the Cut, on Prime Video just a couple of years later in 2020.
So her returning wasn't just like a nice nostalgic moment. It felt like a massive vote of confidence in Project Runway's future.
Oh, totally. And the promos leaned right into that nostalgia. They knew exactly what fans wanted to hear. That first teaser back in May.
I remember that. She just says, "I'm back, and it's good to be home." Simple. Effective.
Wearing this amazing peach gown, looking like a queen in some, Coliseum setting.
Yeah.
It wasn't just advertising. It was announcing a coronation, a homecoming.
But then this is a big but. That homecoming celebration immediately highlighted who wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. The other pillar, the other absolute icon of the show, Tim Gunn.
Yeah. His absence was loud. He was the mentor, the make-it-work guy, just fundamentally part of the show's DNA for so long.
And this is where it gets kind of rough, honestly. For the longtime viewers, this was painful. Because the sources, like his interview with People magazine, made it clear this wasn't his choice.
He actually said he wasn't asked back. That's tough.
Yeah, and he described feeling devastated and then kind of humiliated, especially, you have to imagine, seeing all the fanfare around Heidi's return. It's a stark contrast.
So why? What was the thinking? Was it the network wanting a totally fresh start?
Could be. Or maybe it was linked to him working with Heidi on Making the Cut. That's a speculation, right? A competing show.
He didn't really say, did he? Just that he hoped the reason would come out. But him not being there, It instantly signaled a massive shift in the workroom dynamic.
Fundamentally gone.
Mhm.
That dynamic we watched for, what, like 17 seasons? Completely changed.
And you got to think about what that means for the designers. Tim wasn't just giving advice. He was kind of the safety net, right?
The emotional anchor.
Yeah.
The one who tell you, this is a disaster, darling, but pull yourself together.
Without him, they're walking into that pressure cooker without their usual guide, which, puts enormous pressure on the new mentor.
It sets up this really interesting dynamic, doesn't it? You've got the glamorous, celebrated return of Heidi, the host and judge, and then the quiet, almost awkward sidelining of Tim, the show's heart.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was paving the way for a different kind of mentorship, maybe less academic, more about survival in the competition, which feels very modern reality TV.
Exactly. Less make it work, maybe more make the cut.
Okay, so with Tim Gunn out and Heidi Klum back in, let's look at who else was shaping the designers' fates. The judging panel needed to feel both established and, totally current.
Right. You need that balance.
Yeah.
The institutional memory and the finger on the pulse. And they kind of nailed that, I think.
First off, Nina Garcia returned. Original judge, major fashion journalist, editor at Elle. She is the high fashion authority on that panel.
She represents the industry standard, right? The benchmark for commercial success, critical acclaim. If you impress Nina, you're doing something right in the traditional sense.
Yeah, but the real shakeup, the wow factor, was the new permanent judge, Law Roach.
Yes. I mean, talk about relevance. This is the man behind Zendaya's entire fashion evolution. He's not just in the conversation. He often starts the conversation.
That was brilliant casting, wasn't it? It sends a clear message. This show is about real-world impact, red carpets, making a statement now.
Totally. Law judges on vibe, on image, on cultural heat. It's a fantastic contrast to Nina's focus on, say, construction and marketability for print. It acknowledges that power in fashion today often comes from the stylist, the image architect.
Okay, so Nina and Law as the core judges alongside Heidi. Now, who stepped into Tim Gunn's very large shoes in the workroom?
Christian Siriano, which makes perfect sense, actually.
Season 4 winner. He's lived it. He knows the pressure cooker from the inside.
Exactly. And he'd already hosted Project Runway All-Stars, so he had experience in that kind of guidance role. But stepping into Tim's specific mentor spot on the main show, that's a big deal.
And his style is different, right?
Yeah.
It feels very much like it comes from someone who is still a working, successful designer right now.
Absolutely. He gets the crazy timelines, the limited budgets, the sudden curveballs. In a way, maybe Tim, coming from academia, didn't quite experience firsthand in the same way. Christian lives that pressure daily.
There was that moment, I think it was in the recap for the So Elementary Challenge, the unconventional one.
Oh, yeah, with Madeline Malenfant.
Yes. She was just falling apart, completely panicked, looked like she was about to cry.
Totally spiraling. Scrambling for materials, workroom meltdown, classic Project Runway moment. Now, Tim Gunn might have given her a stern talking to about resilience or focus.
But Christian, what did he do?
He just cut through the panic. He basically ignored the mess on her mannequin for a second and went straight for the psychological boost.
He told her, "You make great stuff, right?" and reminded her the judges liked her style.
Yeah. It was like giving her permission to breathe and just do the work. It felt really empathetic, grounded in his own experiences of probably wanting to curl up in a ball under the work table sometimes. Less about a moral lesson, more about, competitive first aid.
But he wasn't just a cheerleader, was he? He could be tough.
Oh, for sure. He definitely delivered sharp critiques. I remember him yelling at Joan Madison, "Don't make a popsicle dress."
Yeah.
But see, even that, it's direct. It's maybe a little funny, but it's fast. It forces a change without crushing the spirit. He gets that the initial idea might be bad, but he pushes for a pivot, not a surrender. His style demands excellence, but it feels rooted in the reality of getting clothes made under pressure.
So that's the core team. Heidi, Nina, Law, and Christian. But Project Runway always brings in the guest judges, too. And Season 21 delivered on that front. Big time.
Oh, the guest list was stacked. Seriously impressive. They got Michael Kors back for the finale.
The ultimate OG judge return. That must have been amazing for longtime fans.
Huge payoff. And they even managed that little TV reunion moment with Sofia Vergara judging alongside Heidi.
Right. Their America's Got Talent connection. Cute nod.
And then, just look at the rest. Zach Posen, who was a judge for a while. Tyra Banks, supermodel, mogul energy.
Plus designers who are really defining things now, like Christian Cowan.
Harris Reed, who's doing that amazing avant-garde stuff.
Model Joan Smalls.
Yeah, and then people from other fields, too. Like Nikki Glaser for comedy, Mickey Guyton from country music.
Jenna Lyons, Sarah Foster. representing business and lifestyle.
It felt really deliberate, like they wanted feedback from every angle of the current creative world, fashion, entertainment, business, music. It showed the show still has that pull, that cultural currency to attract these huge names.
All right, let's talk about the designers themselves. The season 21 cast felt specifically engineered for maximum interest, maybe even maximum drama.
Yeah, the casting was sharp. You had a mix of returning veterans, artists with really unique points of view, global perspectives. It was a smart blend.
They started with 12 designers. And right away, you noticed the alums they brought back.
Yep, Casey Black from season 19 and Jesus Estrada, who went way back to season 7.
Bringing back alums always adds that extra layer, doesn't it? They know the drill, but they also have this massive pressure not to flame out early.
More to lose, definitely. But the really buzzy casting choices were the new faces with established kind of different backgrounds.
Like Ethan Munt, known worldwide as Utica Queen from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Instant recognition factor there. Plus, you knew he'd bring that avant-garde theatrical flair. His presence basically guaranteed some wild conceptual looks. Raised the bar for creativity, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. And then the designer who eventually won, VJ Floresca.
Right, a proud trans woman, and she'd already competed in the Project Runway version of the Philippines.
So her casting hit multiple notes: diversity, global reach, proven talent within the franchise ecosystem. It broadened the scope beyond just, say, the New York fashion scene.
Definitely felt like a more international representative cast.
And the drama kicked off immediately. Episode 1, new house, new rules, classic reality TV setup.
Split them into teams right away. Always guarantees conflict. It was princesses versus villains.
And the challenge, Disney-inspired collections, which is inherently a lot.
Can go real cheesy real fast.
Yeah.
Or if you lean into it, can be amazing. The House of Villains won that one. They embraced the darker side.
And Ethan Munt, surprise, surprise, got the individual win. Seems right up his alley.
Totally. But the flip side was the House of Princesses lost. And boom, Casey Black, the returning alum, was the first one out. 12th place.
Ouch. Proof that experience doesn't guarantee anything. Sometimes you're just cannon fodder for the premiere.
Brutal. Then episode 2, Feel the Burn, switched gears to activewear, athleisure. Much more commercial.
And Jesus Estrada, the other alum, won that one, showcasing his technical skills early.
But the real storyline brewing was the twins, Jesus and Antonio Estrada, competing against each other.
Built-in drama right there.
Yeah.
Recaps immediately pointed out their, let's say, competitive spirit, like Jesus hoarding materials in the unconventional challenge.
Classic move.
Yeah.
And the whole narrative became, can these two ever not work together? Will they sabotage each other? Pure reality TV gold, engineered for conflict.
Okay, but the peak early drama had to be episode 4, So Elementary, the Unconventional Materials Challenge.
Always a highlight. And this one had that cross-promotion with Abbott Elementary. Smart tie-in.
Lisa Ann Walter and Chris Perfetti from the show introduced it, and the materials were literally scavenged from a school gym.
Hilarious. Slinkies, those vinyl mats, busted volleyballs, soccer nets.
Yeah.
Like actual gym closet junk.
The results were pretty wild, though. Jesus Estrada, despite the hoarding attempt.
Gotta mention the hoarding.
He did something amazing with those volleyballs, cut them up, stitched them together. It looked like this really cool, almost leather-like textile. Super sophisticated from trash, basically.
Incredible technique. And then Yu Han went completely the other way. Total sci-fi vibe.
The robo-soccer pop star look, using the bright vinyl mats, the slinkies. It was weird, conceptual, definitely unforgettable.
Exactly the kind of thing you hope for in an unconventional challenge. Push the boundaries.
But the episode wasn't just about the designs. The producers threw in some major twists. Chaos ensued.
Twist number 1, the runway location. They moved it from the usual fancy stage to the workroom floor.
Yeah, which meant harsh lighting, no dramatic effects, made the clothes look much more raw, maybe highlighted flaws more.
Could be. Less forgiving, for sure. But the second twist was the real bombshell.
Law Roach, judging, alone.
One judge, deciding everything. And his perspective is so specific, so tied to current aesthetics, like provocative styling.
Which explains why Yu Han won, right? Law's comment about his favorite part being the hint of underboob.
Exactly. That tells you everything about his criteria. It wasn't just about construction, it was about the statement, the image.
But wait, the chaos wasn't over. Law Roach, with his solo power, he didn't eliminate anyone.
Nope. He put the bottom 3, Joseph McRae, Joan Madison, and Antonio Estrada on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And then made the safe designers vote on who should go home.
Oh my God, turning them against each other? Brutal.
Pure reality TV genius, though. You had tears, arguments. VJ Floresca apparently ripped into Joseph's tunic made from a banner, called it an insult. Ethan Munt argued Jones' construction was weakest. It was intense.
And they ended the episode right there, cliffhanger. You had to wait until the next week to find out who got the boot.
Which turned out to be Antonio Estrada, one of the twins. Talk about maximizing drama. The producers knew exactly what they were doing.
That kind of tension really fueled the rest of the season. There were 10 episodes total. Themes like runaway rodeo, western chic, something wicked avant-garde, perfect for Ethan.
Yeah, they kept the challenges diverse, pushing different skills each week.
And through it all, navigating the designs, the drama, the peer voting, VJ Floresca emerged as the winner.
Announced in the finale, September 25th. Her journey was compelling: the global perspective, the technical skill, the way she blended tailoring with really inventive ideas. It paid off.
And the win wasn't just a title. It came with a serious career boost.
Huge package, $200,000 cash, which is obviously life-changing, but also 6 months of PR representation from Agentry PR. That's major.
Explain that for people who might not know. Why is Agentry PR significant?
They're a big name in fashion communications. Getting 6 months with them means instant access, press coverage, invites to the right events, getting your name out there to buyers and media. It's invaluable for launching a brand.
Plus a CFDA mentorship.
Right, Council of Fashion Designers of America.
Yeah.
That puts VJ directly in touch with the industry elite. Guidance from established designers, connections. It's like getting a fast pass into the established American fashion world.
And the Ella magazine spread, of course.
Can't forget that. Major visibility. So yeah, it's a Launchpad prize package.
The runners-up, Jesus Estrada and Ethan Munt, definitely made their mark too. Huge visibility for them coming out of this.
For sure. But VJ showed that specific blend, the creativity, the technique, and maybe crucially, the resilience to handle the absolute pressure cooker that is Project Runway. She navigated the whole gauntlet.
Okay, so season 21 had its share of drama, but now let's zoom out and put it into the bigger picture, because Project Runway history is littered with controversy. It's almost as famous for the rule bending as it is for the fashion.
Absolutely. The show has always had these strict, sometimes kind of arbitrary rules about outside help, using unauthorized tools, and breaking them has led to some really memorable disqualifications over the years.
We got to go back to season 3. Keith Michael, remember what he got kicked off for?
Seems almost quaint now, right?
Yeah.
He had pattern-making books and fashion history books in the apartment where they live.
And that was it. Using outside reference materials. Considered an unfair advantage. Instant DQ.
And the rules just got stricter, it seemed. Or maybe the policing got more intense. Think about Claire Butendorp in season 16.
Oh, yeah, the measuring tape incident?
Her crime. Measuring her own clothes outside the official workroom. The idea was she could use those measurements to help proportion her designs.
So using your own clothes as a reference tool was deemed cheating.
Right.
Using an unauthorized external tool, and it sounds so minor, but...
Boom. Disqualified. They even took back her win from the previous challenge. That's how serious they were about enforcing those specific rules.
But maybe the most debated, the most talked about cheating accusation, the one that didn't end in a disqualification, was Tapegate.
Ah, season 8. Michael Costello. This was legendary drama.
It happened during that reunion challenge where eliminated designers came back to help, and Ivy Higa, who had this major rivalry with Michael C., accused him of using double-sided tape.
Specifically, tape that wasn't provided by the show to hold up his model stress during the Jackie Kennedy challenge. A very high-stakes moment.
Ivy's proof was finding open tape packages in the dressing room. Pretty circumstantial.
Right. But Michael Costello, his defense was kind of brilliant, you have to admit.
He said his model regularly wore falsies, silicone breast forms.
Yep. And he argued those required that specific kind of double-sided tape for support and, to stay in place, regardless of the dress itself. It was about the undergarment, not the garment construction.
So it created this whole debate. Was the tape for the dress cheating or for the model's foundation garments? Arguably okay. It became this whole integrity crisis.
And who had to rule on it? Tim Gunn, of course. He investigated.
And his final verdict was non-case.
Which is fascinating phrasing. He didn't totally clear Michael C., maybe? But he said the accusation came too late and there wasn't enough definitive proof.
It shows that even with strict rules, things like timing, evidence, and maybe production oversight can totally change the outcome. The rules are one thing, how they're enforced is another.
Exactly. And that wiggle room, that element of production, may be influencing things. That leads us straight into the biggest conspiracy theory territory of the entire franchise.
Producer manipulation, judging bias, the idea that it's not always just about the sewing.
And the poster child for this whole conversation is usually the Season 8 finale, Gretchen Jones versus Mondo Guerra.
The Gretchen-Mondo debate still sparks arguments online. Gretchen won. Mondo was the clear fan favorite. His collection felt so much more forward, right?
Mondo's collection was electric. Bold colors, graphics, a real point of view. Critics called it maybe a circus, but it was fashion. Gretchen's, well, the critique was catalog clothes.
Meaning safe, commercial, wearable separates in earth tones.
Exactly. Saleable? Maybe, but not the innovative finale collection many expected. It felt uninspired to a lot of people.
And the story goes, the judges argued for hours. They were completely deadlocked.
Right. And the persistent rumor, partly fueled by Tim Gunn later, was that a producer basically had to step in and pick a name out of a hat just to end the stalemate.
Whether true or not, the backlash to Gretchen's win was huge. Fans were furious.
And that backlash, according to the theories, directly led to the outcome of the next season, Season 9. Anya Young Chee's win.
Ah, yes, the Heidi's revenge theory, or maybe producer's apology theory.
The idea being they needed a winner. Everyone loved to smooth things over after the Gretchen mess.
Okay, let's break down the fashion critique there. Anya won primarily with resort wear, right?
Yes. Flowy fabrics, simpler silhouettes, maybe less complex construction or tailoring. Now, in Project Runway history, resort wear often gets penalized.
Because it's seen as easier, less technically difficult than, say, a tailored jacket.
Generally, yes. Judges had dinged designers for it before.
Yeah.
Uli Hersner comes to mind. Yet Anya, who admittedly had some construction struggles during the season, she wins with that style.
So the theory is, they needed a likable winner, the fan base adored Anya, so the technical merit of the final collection maybe took a backseat.
That's the speculation, that the narrative needed a happy ending more than it needed a technically complex winner that season.
These manipulation theories even touch on casting, like we mentioned with Season 21, the twins, Jesus and Antonio.
Right. Are designers cast purely on talent, or are they cast to fill roles? The villain, the ingenue, the quirky artist, the twin drama storyline.
The idea that maybe the twins' main goal was just getting airtime for their brand, and the producers facilitated that because it made good TV.
It feels plausible in the reality TV landscape. And then there's the button bag.
The dreaded button bag for team challenges. Supposedly random pairings.
But fans always suspect it's rigged for maximum drama. Remember Shar and Karina in Season 13? Putting those two together felt like lighting a fuse.
Guaranteed fireworks. So yeah, the hand of production is always suspected.
Which brings us back, finally, to the mentors. Christian Siriano style in Season 21 versus Tim Gunn's legacy.
It's a really interesting contrast. Christian feels very designer to designer. Practical advice on making the garment work now.
Exactly. Tactical. Whereas Tim, especially later on, seemed to take on this role of like the show's moral compass, judging integrity, work ethic.
Which could be helpful, but sometimes felt harsh. Fans definitely point to moments where they felt he crossed a line.
The big one people always bring up is how he absolutely laid into Saisha Shinde, who was competing as Swapnil back then in Season 14.
That was the challenge where they designed for the crew members, right?
Yeah. And Tim accused Saisha of coasting, of not taking it seriously, not listening to the client. It wasn't just about the dress. It felt very personal.
Like he was critiquing the designer's character almost, more than the design choices in that moment.
It felt intensely emotional, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a real contrast to Christian, who seems more focused on, will this look good on the runway? Will Law Roach hate it? He sidesteps the moral lectures, mostly.
So it's a shift from that kind of stern, fatherly figure to more of an empathetic peer who's actually done this.
Totally. And that fundamentally changes the whole vibe in the workroom. Season 21 fully embraced that change. Hashtag tag outro.
So wrapping this up, Season 21 of Project Runway, it really proved this show isn't going anywhere, didn't it? It managed to feel both nostalgic, with Heidi back, and those classic high-stakes challenges.
And totally modern. New talent, the Law Roach factor, that insane peer elimination twist.
Yeah, that cliffhanger was something else. It kept things fresh while still feeling like the Project Runway people know and love.
But I think the enduring magic, the thing that keeps us all watching after all these years, is that messy area we talked about. It's not just about the clothes.
Right. It's that mix of incredible talent, suffocating pressure, and, yeah, the undeniable influence of reality TV production shaping everything.
You're watching creativity under duress, but you're also always wondering about the narrative being crafted. It reminds you that behind the runway glamour and the big prizes, it's a brutal, subjective game.
And the rules, they're strict on paper, but always seem open to interpretation depending on the situation or who's judging.
That's the real takeaway, isn't it? How much perception matters. A design can look brilliant one week and be out the next just based on context, or the specific challenge rules, or which judge has the loudest voice that day. It's all about navigating those shifting expectations.
It really is.
So thinking about that, especially that unconventional challenge, so elementary. Using what you have, thinking outside the box. Maybe a thought for you, the listener, moving forward today. We all have our standard ways of doing things, the rules of our jobs or creative lives. What's one assumption, one established rule in your world that maybe deserves a little pushback?
Or maybe what's one unconventional material you have access to, could be a skill you underuse, a connection you haven't tapped, a different way of looking at a problem that you could use to really stand out, to, finally make it work. A great thought to end on. That's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.